internet at the end of the day unozona ndo inenge yambereki wana.
Munozviziva here kuti vabereki vemazuva ano vaita too busy vachitsvaga mari. Havachazivi kana kuti mwana ari kuswerepi.
My dear brothers and sisters, marriage is not the key for success. The key for success is education.
Hello viewers, we welcome you back to your favorite program, a youth empowering program, Youth Today. This week we're going to discuss something very beautiful, something that is very important to our youth today. We're going to discuss the topic of corporal punishment. We're in the human rights era, in the postmodern era, where the human rights mantra teaches us and implores us to be a tolerant society, people who can converse, people who shun violence. And in this subject today, corporal punishment, kurowa kwevana, ndokwatinoda kutaura nezvako kuti tione kuti tingaite sei musociety yatiri kurarama mazuva ano. Munowirirana neni kuti kukura kwedu tose takangokura mwana achinzi misikanzo yake inopedzwa neshamu, but we are looking at things differently mazuva ano. Mukupindana kwaita mazuva, vanorera vana, vakafunda nezvevana nevanoita zvemahuman rights vari kutikurudzira kuti tisaite shamu dzakawanda kuwana asi tigone kuumba ukama nevana nekuvabatsira. Saka nhasi nyaya iyi toda kuidzumburudza. Taona zvakanaka kuti nhasi tishanye kuchemanza high school kwatichataura nevana vechikoro tichinzwawo pfungwa dzavo maringe nenyaya yekurohwa kwavo kuti zvingavabatsira here kana zvakanaka kana zvakaipa. Saka nhasi hamusi kuzotandara neni tonderai murwira sekujaira kwamaita kana mai mangwiro, asi nhasi ndiri kusai maoko asisi rutendo neshamwari dzavo sisi rutendo vachakuzivisai vavainavo pakukurukura nyaya iyi. Tisakanganwe kurerwa kwevana vachikura vari vanhu vakanaka, vanodzidza zvakanaka, vane hunhu hwakanaka, kunotikoshera. Munguva yakare takakuita tichishandisa shamu, asi mumazuva ano amahuman rights tiri kuti vana vane kodzero dzavo, kurohwa hachisi chinhu chakavanakira nekuti kunogona kuvakuvadza. Saka tingaite zvipi kuti batsire vana? Toramba tichivarova here? Tochinja karovero here? Tosiya tsika yekurova here? Iko kurova kwacho kwakanaka here? Ndo mibvunzo yatoda kuona muzora nhasi. Saka inini wenyu tonderai murwira, ndangokugamuchirai, ndinokusai maoko akanaka arutendo.
Hello Zimbabwe, welcome to YT Youth Today, giving young people knowledge, wisdom and hope. My name is Rutendo Moyo, and today with me I have children from Chemonza High School who will be helping me discuss more on a very important topic that is called the ears and eyes of the people of Zimbabwe, which is corporal punishment. So to begin with, before we go into our discussion, we're going to start with introductions on the people telling us who they are at school.
Hello Zimbabwe, my name is Julius Ndewe.
Hello Zimbabwe, my name is Leroy Ziweya.
Hello Zimbabwe, my name is Breton Sign.
Magadi Zimbabwe, my name is Sherichina Makoma, the Child MP and Upper Six Arts.
Thank you very much, panel, for the introduction. So Zimbabwe, stay tuned and get into the discussion with us as we discuss on corporal punishment. So to begin with, panel, we're going to start with enlightening Zimbabwe on what corporal punishment is. So what is corporal punishment according to your own point of view?
Corporal punishment is physical punishment such as flogging and caning. In some cases, children are forced to take unpleasant substances such as soap, hot pepper, and also hot sauce. Thank you.
According to a convention on the rights of a child, they say it includes the right not to be treated or punished in a cruel, inhuman, degrading manner. So if you say forcing them, isn't that a violation of children's rights?
Thank you, Rutendo. I think that is a great question because I personally think it is the violation of their rights. Because according to my research, Article number 7 of Children's Act 1972 confirms that the parents has the right to administer reasonable punishment or reasonable corporal punishment to the children. So it is the violation of their rights.
So what we're basically saying is it depends on the degree of punishment, corporal punishment exacted on the child for it to be called a violation of rights or not. Well, thank you very much, panel. We'll move on to another question, which are what kind of objects are used when beating a child or caning or exacting different types of corporal punishments?
Objects like sticks, shambokes, belts, gas pipes are some of the objects that are used in corporal punishment.
Gas pipes and beating a child. Is that right according to Zimbabwe's constitution or policies?
What I think is, it all depends on how the one who is punishing the child reacts to what he or she might have done. If we look at some instances, we have some certain scenarios whereby a parent or a guardian or a teacher can actually use the nearest object to them to discipline the child. So it actually depends on how it happened and where they may be located.
Okay, can you give me example of my deeds for them to be punished physically? Maybe their offenses at home and at school. Their guardians or parents they deserve corporal punishment.
At home, we realize that some other children may break some norms and values. For example, situation whereby pamba playing before 6 January, then you so that one results in corporal punishment. And being at school, there's some mischievous behaviors like stealing, even breaking some other school rules, and even poor performance. It will result in corporal punishment.
Isusu, growing up as Zimbabweans, we all know that there are some things that tikazviita kumba hapana alternative. For instance, ukabvunzwa nembereki wako and you talk back kwavari nemena isiriyo, we all know kuti hapana alternative kwakutongorohwa. Exactly.
But in all honesty, guys, Sarah, do you really think beating someone is the only thing that you can actually do to a child? I mean, can't my parents or Vangomani resolve to other things rather than corporal punishment?
From my own perspective, I think rather than corporal punishment, there are some other measures that can be taken. Let's say we are at home, you can ground me. Say you are not going out, you are not going to use your phone, you are not going to do such things. Or you can just give me some other tasks to do at home. Like you're going to water the garden the whole week, you're going to do the dishes the whole week. So that's the other measures that can be taken when we are at home. So at a school setup, there are some measures like expulsion, there's suspension, where someone is sent home for like 3 weeks and then comes home after like 3 weeks to school, and that person is to face a hearing, which will be determining his or her admission at school or not.
Thank you very much, sir, for that enlightenment on other ways of disciplinary measures that can be taken at home and at school. I am sure Zimbabwe has heard you, and parents will reduce on the beating and resort to other measures of punishment to the children. So we're going to take a break from now on and then be back for more. Stay tuned for more information. Welcome back to the second segment of YT, giving young people wisdom, knowledge, and hope. My name is Rutendo Moyo, and today I am here with the children of Chemonza High School who are helping me on the discussion on corporal punishment. So to add on to where we left, we're going to continue with the effects of corporal punishment in home, at school, and in the society at large. So what are the different effects of corporal punishment?
Well, the effects of corporal punishment. Let's take, for instance, it's a home setup. We have depression and stress, and then when at school, we have a decrease in self-esteem, whereby if you get beat in front of your peers or your streammates, you actually have a decrease in self-confidence, and that's only is an effect on a person's well-being and social capabilities.
They're only negative. Are there any positive effects or maybe more negative effects of corporal punishment besides self-esteem and depression?
Well, I think if corporal punishment is not applied properly or with caution, it may cause disabilities. In most cases, it causes disabilities.
Isn't that abuse rather than corporal punishment? Is that still corporal punishment?
When corporal punishment is exerted at a certain extent, it becomes abuse. Because as I have said on Article number 7 of the Child Act 1972, it states that the punishment that is administered to children should be reasonable. So if you don't administer reasonable punishment, it becomes child abuse.
Thank you very much. Are there any positive effects? Because I'm pretty sure so what are the different positive effects of corporal punishment?
It is school setup. Corporal punishment can instill discipline, whereby students will become law-abiding thieves. And also, there's also the issue of improving academics grades. For example, if children are monitored closely using a stick or using corporal punishment, they end up in focusing more on their studies, and as a result, this will produce high grades. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Of
course.
Okay, thank you very much. So nowadays, from what we know in the education sector, corporal punishment has been banned, right? So what was life back then, in specific, just to life with corporal punishment when it was there? What was life for the students and the teachers both?
From my own perspective, being having corporal punishment banned from schools or not banned from schools, there's not that much difference, because it's never national nini vanhu hawatombochinji nyange ukamurova zvikadii haachinji. Saka tikutaura kuti corporal punishment was there, they were there, these people. It is banned, they are still there, and they are increasing in numbers, so it doesn't actually change anything.
He mentioned something about improve in education, right? Kupasa and all that, due to corporal punishment. So izvezvi corporal punishment isiko pane kachange here panyaya relationship between vana vechikoro nematicha, or even kumba between children and their parents? Is there a change due to corporal punishment when it was there and corporal punishment when it is not there?
From my own point of view, those people referred to as nini kana vanhu vanonetsa pachikoro, over and above corporal punishment kana any other forms of punishment to them, they're always there. Saka corporal punishment is executed on certain individuals at the school setup. It installs ka order and an element of respect the responsible authority, even if it is demonstrated in front of other people. Inogona ngeisiri corrector nini idzodzo, but then those people vari surrounding those vanhu ivavo vatiri kuti nini. Saka to some extent there is a slight difference on the general response of other students besides those extreme figures.
In favor of the teachers in particular and the parents in particular and guidance, do you think corporal punishment should be bought for them or not? Is it okay for them to have corporal punishment, to be allowed to exert corporal punishment or not?
I think they should be allowed to exert corporal punishment on students and their children, because if we do not allow them to exert corporal punishment, they'll end up having no power at all to discipline their children at school and at home.
So corporal punishment actually helps that and aids vana, even my teacher never berekwavo, and helping and disciplining the child and also helping their grades. So we will be back more to continue with this discussion on corporal punishment. Thank you. Welcome back to the third and last segment of YT, giving young people wisdom, knowledge, and hope. My name is Rutendo Moyo, and with me here I have children from Chemunda High School who are helping discuss in the discussion of corporal punishment. So, panel, in the first segment, we actually talked about other ways of punishment rather than corporal punishment, which include probation, expulsion, detention. These methods both even grounding right? These methods both at home and at school, are they really being used, and are they even effective to the children and also helping the parents?
I think these other methods of punishment are not that effective, because let's take to start with at a school setup, right? If someone is to be expelled, right, from the school, mukamudzinga chikoro, achaenda pawadlife achanowana nzvimbo, oita futi musikanzwa, odzingwa futi chikoro, anongonowana futi nzvimbo, because tikutaura kuti chapter 81 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, amendment number 20, states that children have the right to education. So that child is to look for education. Akava first school, argoenda by the next school, I don't want to repeat the same thing. So that one is not that effective. Expulsion is not that effective, even though suspension food is not that effective. Let's take into look my households, right? Kana tiri kumba ukanditi chisaro chidiriza garden because waita this and that. Pamwe ndiri monya hazvindirwadzi kuti ndenda ndidirize garden. So some other methods are not that effective. But if you say I'm gonna beat you 5 times, you might implement fear inside me. So I wanna do that again.
Sakatodi, because the children are saying we don't want corporal punishment because it leads to this and that, they're abusing us and all those factors, right? And then we try to resort to other methods. The methods are not effective, but then children still need to be disciplined. So we as a country, what should we do? What do you give examples of things that should be done to help these children and the parents? Because corporal punishment is actually important to the parents and the children. So what should we do?
We are saying here corporal punishment and any other forms of treating a child, they must work hand in hand.
Okay.
Right? So, and then in Shona, panipo vanotonizo kurovaimbo vakagamping sort of. So you realize that without corporal punishment, mberikanenga chikuti ndichakurova, then panengada kurozofunga kuti zviya ndakarambidzwa kurova. So we are saying corporal punishment and any other forms of treating a child must be applicable.
So if they're going to work hand in hand, right, that means we're going to bring back corporal punishment. Okay, but then corporal punishment in the first place, the government removed it due to cases of abuse. Children are complaining, we're being abused, excessive corporal punishment. So say corporal punishment is brought back, right? What should be done to help children and avoid cases of abuse?
What I think is, what should happen is, whenever a child is to be disciplined, there should be at least a witness or someone who is there, so that when the case gets out of hand, they are there to control or to rather look deeper into the matter rather than just leaving the one who is receiving the corporal punishment and the one who is giving it to someone.
I think parents and teachers should undergo training. They should be trained on how to exert corporal punishment on their children and learners at school. Also, there should be organizations like organizations in Zimbabwe which caters for children, which will teach parents and children how corporal punishment should be done. And also children are supposed to be taught what the difference between corporal punishment and abuse.
But do you really think my parents edu anoda kugadzikwa pasi womurayira kuti wewe kana uchirova mwana murove so do you really think that kind of method would actually work with our parents?
I think it works because if parents are told how to beat their children, they will know the effects of beating children without care and without training. So if they are trained, they will know how to beat their children well and the effects of not beating their children well.
The Constitution of Zimbabwe is, as I've mentioned before, Chapter 81, Section 4, Part 2D. It states that children are entitled to adequate protection from the courts, in particular the higher court, as their upper guardian. So if these children are to be abused in some sort of way, if their parents are not to abide to what the government has said, these children can go and report to the police. They can be assisted from there.
So we're saying corporal punishment should be there, but it should be monitored and be allowed to a certain extent with certain rules and regulations. Awareness campaigns should be done for education of the parents and all that information, right? Okay, so before we close up, right? Zimbabwe as a nation came together and actually thought corporal punishment should be banned, right? So then if we think corporal punishment should be brought back, to whom shall we say or give our grievances, or who shall help the government see that we need corporal punishment back?
Firstly, we want to show our government about the background information, what happened when corporal punishment was there, and currently what is really happening now. In a school setup, you notice that school children are now go wild because there is no that close monitoring with our teachers. So as a result, things are going out of hand as children are misbehaving, right? So this is the other issue the government must observe, okay? And the other thing is, in our community, you notice that norms and values are no longer taken into consideration. For example, tichikura utaizoti ukasangana nevanhu vakuru unovakwazisa ukabvisa head, but now ukasamurisa munhu mukuru kudhara ikoko waigona kungorohwa, kana mwana upa next wakaita musikanzo pamberi pomubereki waigona kungorohwa. But because corporal punishment has been removed now, children are now behaving their own way. So these are the other things that our government must see and put these things into consideration.
To add on, I think every child in Zimbabwe must have access to child-friendly systems and to know every child-friendly systems in Zimbabwe. Also, we have organizations like the junior parliamentarians. They can help children in different parts of the country to know what is corporal punishment and what is abuse.
Thank you very much, Panyo, for that enlightenment and information. So we're basically saying, from our point of view, that corporal punishment and other forms of punishment should work hand in hand in improving society and making sure there is observance of our norms and values in community, respecting of teachers in schools, and also the elders at large. So what we're basically saying is, us as people think corporal punishment is important as long as it is exerted in the right way, right? Yes. So thank you very much. That was the discussion of today with the children of Shemonza High School. And in our next episode, we're going to go into the community and see what they say and what they think about corporal punishment. For today, this is all for today. My name is Rutendo Moyo. We'll meet again next week, same place, same time.